Good morning. Bonjour. My name is Niki Ashton. I'm the Member of Parliament for Churchill, Kiewit, Nokaski, and the NDP critic for tax fairness. Working people and people on fixed incomes across our country are struggling. People in Northern and Indigenous communities are struggling. 1 in 5 Canadians are skipping meals to reduce costs. Demand for food banks, a consistent indicator of government failure, has skyrocketed. Food prices are at a 41-year high, and wages cannot keep up. All the while, corporate Canada and the richest 1% in our country are enjoying record profits. Profits made on the backs of working people. Canada doesn't just have an inflation crisis. We have an inequality crisis. Working people are falling further and further behind. It's time to take on the billionaires. It's time to tax the rich. It's time to make sure that they pay their fair share. Il faut agir. Il faut que les riches dans notre pays paient ce qu'il faut. Il faut réinvestir cet argent dans les services publics dont on a besoin. We are here today calling on the Liberals to take concrete action to take on the inequality crisis. It is time to stand up for working people. Aujourd'hui, on demande aux libéraux d'agir, de s'assurer que les riches paient ce qu'il faut, de s'assurer qu'ils se tiennent debout pour les travailleurs et les travailleuses à travers notre pays. As we speak, the share of corporate profits as part of our GDP has never been higher. Loblaws just announced that their profits are up 30%. Oil and gas companies are showing record profits. The banking sector is showing record profits. These corporations and their billionaire owners are contributing to ballooning inflation and are not contributing to working people. Instead of taking action against the profiteers, the Liberals are backstopping an agenda that tries to make working people the scapegoat for inflation. The Bank of Canada's actions have focused on hiking interest rates and calling on employers to keep wages down. An approach that is picking on the victims of inflation and the inflation crisis rather than dealing with the beneficiaries, the billionaires. As Labour leaders have said, the Bank of Canada is waging a war against working people. Canadian workers, those on fixed incomes, their families cannot afford to keep going down this path. It's time to take on the multimillionaires and billionaires in our country. It's time to tax the rich. It's time to reinvest what they owe in the services we desperately need: healthcare, employment insurance, housing, infrastructure, childcare. Instead of taking the side of working people, the Liberals are taking the side of CEOs and their billionaire friends. A report released earlier this fall by Canadians for Tax Fairness found that 123 corporations avoided paying $30 billion in taxes in 2020. This didn't just happen. Our federal government is allowing corporate Canada to game the system. While the Conservatives and Liberals may pretend to be political enemies, when it comes to defending the interests of the 1%, they're on the same team. Stephen Harper cut the corporate tax rate to a historic low of 15%, and Justin Trudeau has refused to increase it. The Liberals and Conservatives voted together against our NDP motion to ensure people making more than $20 million didn't have to pay a 1% tax. So much for Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre's defense of working people. Let's not kid ourselves. He's on the side of the corporate elite while leaving Canadian workers to fend for themselves. We need real action. Action like increasing the corporate tax rate. We need real action like a windfall tax, including on oil and gas. We need a windfall tax, something that Minister Freeland has so far shockingly rejected. We know that a recent PBO report found that our NDP proposal for a windfall tax on big oil and gas and big box stores, which include big grocery chains, would generate $4.3 billion over 5 years. This is money the Liberals could use to take the GST off home heating, relieve some of the pressure on families as they deal with higher and higher costs. We know that countries in the European Union are taking this kind of action. It's time for Canada to step up. And we need real action like closing gaping tax loopholes, implementing action like the book tax, an innovative tool such as that was proposed by the American administration just recently. The reality is that corporate profits are going up twice as fast as inflation. Yet the Deputy Prime Minister refuses to bring in a windfall tax, preferring to talk about canceling Disney Plus accounts. We also have a message for Pierre Poilievre, who likes to talk a good talk about billionaires and conservatives who claim to defend working people. Why have you voted against our NDP actions to tax the rich? Anytime we raise this in the House, the Conservatives avoid the subject. It's clear that they are not interested in taking on the billionaires and standing up for working people. Finally, we must recognize we are facing an inequality crisis. On a devant nous une crise d'inégalité. Il faut agir. Les travailleurs et les travailleuses sont en train de payer le prix de cette crise. Working people and people on fixed incomes are paying the price. But it doesn't have to be this way. It's time for multimillionaires and billionaires to pay up. C'est le temps pour que les multimilliardaires et les billionnaires paient ce qu'il faut. It's time for Justin Trudeau and the Liberals to step up. C'est le temps d'agir. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
And we will now take questions online. If you do have a question online, please use the raise hand function. Si vous avez une question en ligne, s'il vous plaît, utilisez la fonction levez la main. We don't have any questions.
Okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you.